I'm a little bit older, so perhaps I have a different perspective. I've been married 21 years.
You've been some very difficult times, I'm assuming, in your marriage.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You
And
you have
coming
to
out of
work
this,
and fight
and,
for your marriage if you want it.
and coming out of that, wasn't that the portion that made you love your partner the most? Out of this?
Absolutely. Let me just share this because I know a lot of people who want to have a relationship and connect. The four things that kill a relationship, people never talk about.
Go for it.
And those things are criticism. When you constantly criticize your partner, you're going to kill your relationship. That's number one. Number two, contempt. When you get to a place of contempt for your partner, that's a sign that your relationship is going to fail. Number three, when you are defensive, you are constantly, your partner can't point something out to you in a loving way, just even sometimes it's hard. But if you're constantly defensive and it's like a moving target, nobody could get to you, that's a sign. And the last one is how can I say this? It's like stonewalling, right? It's like that drawbridge goes up and it's like, no, no,
Yeah.
no.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you something? Can I ask
Go
you
ahead,
something?
bro. Go ahead, bro.
Wouldn't you say that all those things are choices?
All of those things are choices, and you have to accept the responsibility, right? That you are responsible for your behavior. That's the thing. It's not about, you can feel how you want to. And maybe you need to process and work through your feelings, right? To understand why you feel the way that you do. But irrespective of that, you're still responsible for your behavior. You're responsible for the things that you say. You're responsible for the things that you do.
And you preaching to the choir, my
You
friend.
know what I mean?
Listen, you're not the only one. Pretty much every married couple that I would speak to, that you research online, that you look at
Yeah.
studies, will say the same thing, right? And so that's why it's crazy to me when people talk about like, all right, well, what am I going to bring to the marriage? But they never bring up responsibility. They
No.
never bring up
Duty,
duty or
respect.
labor. It's a lot of
It's
labor, isn't it?
hard. We have twins. It's hard.
That's
It
what I'm
is
saying.
hard.
Let's go preach.
It's not a party. It's not going to be that you're going to get your way all the time. It's not going to be tiptoeing through the tulips. Nah, it is. And here's the thing too. A lot of times as a married person, you have to remind yourself, oh yeah, you know what? This is not about me. I have this responsibility to my wife, to my children, to the legacy of my family, to my community.
Ooh,
You need to change the culture because talking about legacy, right? In what I'm going to leave to my children, what I'm going to leave to my grandchildren, beginning to plan and think about these things will help me understand that, oh, you know what? Buying those Jordans is probably not the wisest thing for me to do. It's better for me to take that money, if we're talking about finances, and go invest that into Nike. Let's just use that for example. And that money will be there for my grandchild versus me wearing these J's for, let's say I have them for 6 months. Like, what's 6 months when we're talking about legacy? So these are the kinds of things that, and when you're bonded with your partner about legacy and you're now starting to plan and plot about, hey, what are we going to do for our kids? What are we going to do for our grandkids? What are we going to do? That changes the dynamic of how you see your partner. It changes the dynamic about what the institution of marriage is. It helps you understand that your marriage is connected to more than just your emotion, your feelings. It's connected to not just you, not just your kids, but your community.
that's right.
Right? It's a
That's right.
reflection of something much, much bigger. So anyway, I just wanted to share those
Look,
things.
you have to understand what it is before you go into it, because I'm sure
That's
when you were
important.
taking those vows, you understood what it meant.
Well, not only that, my wife and I, we sat down and we went to counseling. Like, let's put all our cards on the table, and when we hit a rough patch and we feel like, hey, you know what? Our relationship isn't as dynamic as it should be. For example, after we had our twins, right? It's like we had to learn how to reconnect because for the first 3, 4 years, we just twins, you know what I
Well,
mean? Trying to stay above
well,
water. Yes, sir.
wait. Are you saying that you had 3, 4 years of turbulence and you stuck through it?
Of course. Right? But it was difficult, but we had to sit down and we had to say to one another, hey,
If you're wondering why I'm dancing so hard, it's because somebody came on earlier and they were like, yeah, well, if I was unhappier for multiple years, I would just leave him. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, well, you keep on doing that, and after that, you wonder why after all these years you're unhappy. Like this guy right there. I don't know what your name is, sir, but for the purpose of all this, I'm gonna call you Preach. So what Preach is saying right now What the fuck else you want me to say? When a motherfucker preach, my name is Preach, but when another motherfucker is preaching, I'm gonna be like, okay, sure, take on the flame and preach on, bruv. I ain't got nothing else to add to whatever the hell he was saying. Preach was doing a good job right now. So, yo, listen, this video you're showing me Abba and Preach. You're showing me Abba and Preach.
Yes.
Like,
You know
like,
what'd be
what the hell?
hilarious if there would be like a bald Preach reveal and it's just this guy.
I'm pretty sure I look like him bald too. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, he said what he said. He's talking to rough patches. He's talking about you're unhappy, you leave. Then you're always gonna end up leaving because people have this idea of this picture perfect image. A wedding can be perfect. A marriage? It's a whole other ball game. What's going to make a decision if I stay is if the other one is willing to work. That's the thing. If you're willing to work, if you're willing to work, if you're not willing to work or the other person is not willing to work, then there's nothing much you could do about it. The person doesn't want to give the effort. If you're telling me I'm unhappy because the person doesn't want to put the effort, therefore there's nothing that works because there's like he's talking about it. He's talking about contempt and he's talking about that bridge coming up. That's the other person not wanting to work. Then I can understand leaving. But if you're unhappy and you're talking about it and you don't stick through it, I'm not even talking about something that is toxic. I'm not talking about something that's toxic. By all means, boo-boo, if it's toxic, leave. That's some different shit. If it's affecting your mental and stuff like that, leave. But when you want to make that contract and the both person willing to work on it, that's a different thing. So it's like when I'm saying, you know that speed has never caused any death. When you're driving your car and anybody that's been driving, it's not the speed that's causing death. It's the sudden stop. You know what I mean? That's what caused death. It's been the same thing in a marriage. It's not you getting there and having things happening and wanting to work. It's when someone stops and doesn't want to work no more that is the death of the relationship. Really, the person is not willing. The person's always right. The person this, the person that. Yeah, he said what he said.
This is what you're noticing from the female perspective. This is what I'm noticing from the male perspective. And the conclusion is we're not connected as we would like to be. So now that we are in a place where we have the time and the resources in our relationship, hey, let's go to counseling. I recommend counseling, especially for Black people. We need counseling, but everyone. So we went to counseling and said, okay, these are the things that we need to work on. These are the things that we need to do. Can I just share one more thing that might be helpful to people?
Yeah, wrap this up.
I'll wrap it up. One more thing.
Yes.
I think it's very, very important as well to be self-aware when you're single and know what it is that you need in a woman or in a man, right? What are your weaknesses? What are your strengths? You're dating a person. What are they bringing to the table in terms of character? In terms of character, and that is huge. So that's how you pick the right person for you.
Right.
You know, and that takes a lot of self-awareness. That takes, putting sex to the side and really focusing on, okay, who is this person as an individual human being? Who is it? Because guess what? You should be able to marry this person. If they don't change a lick for the next 40 years, the person that you see right in front of you, if they decide I'm not changing, can you marry this person? And looking at character is I guess what I'll say is that's one of the areas where we're failing. We think sex and we think good time. And we think that's not what holds a marriage together. Looks is not what holds a marriage together. All these things are very superficial. So anyways, that's what I want to say and just share that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on.
All right, that's it for today's video. I mean, he said what he said. I'm not. The fuck you want me to say, bruv? He said some of the shit I said before. It's like it really is what it is. That's it for today's video. Share, like, subscribe. But yo, that's what it is. Whenever they're trying to find someone like, oh, we have the same interest. He likes Burna Boy. I like Burna Boy. That's not gonna raise a fucking family. That's not gonna do anything for you later on. When shit's gonna be hard, money's gonna be tight. You need someone that's gonna be able to manage. You're gonna be able to someone that's gonna have your back. That's gonna be that. After that, you got the looks, you got the sex. Yeah, all that is nice. but you can't be fucking all the time. You're not gonna be always having intercourses. That's not what a marriage is. It's hard. It's rough. Nobody's perfect in that. It's everybody's got their flaws and everything and stuff, but it's really what you're willing to work. If you're willing to work, that's what it is. This guy was preaching right there. To me, that's another preach. I don't know your name. I don't know what it is, and I don't care. Frankly, dear, I don't give a damn. To me, you was preaching. Therefore, your name is Preach. He did that. That's a dude that knows. Now, I'm not even going to say that like he applies everything. I don't know the man, but we are so caught up in ideals and stuff like that. And none of that is going to raise anything. It's a plus. It's a plus. Yeah. They like the same music as you. Fine. That's a plus. But that's not what's going to raise a family. You see my wife. You know her. I'd say polar opposites. Polar opposites. The goal is the same. The values is the same. It hasn't always been easy. If you're willing to work and shit. He said what he said. This guy was spitting games. God damn. God bless you, sir. Yeah, he came in and was spitting facts, and I didn't hear one like in his speech.
This guy's still going on.
He came in and was like, listen, this is what it is. Yo, talk your shit, sir.
All right. Well, look, that's it for today's video. Let us know what you guys thought about the comments below. All right. We'll hear from you guys.